Alice Walker's novel, Possessing the Secret of Joy, 1992, directs its focus toward Tashi, a minor character previously introduced in Walker's more renowned work, The Color Purple. Tashi's union with Adam, Seeley's son, forms a central plot point. In The Color Purple, Tashi undergoes a traditional African rite involving female circumcision and facial scarring. Adam, driven by his devotion, also embraces facial scarring. Walker employs a distinct narrative technique in this novel, crafting a composition of extensive interior monologues interspersed with occasional letters exchanged between characters. Tashi, grappling with mental health challenges, emerges as an unreliable narrator. The novel commences with Tashi's assertion, "I did not realize, for a long time, that I was dead." She proceeds to recount the tale of a neglected female panther coerced into an unhappy union with a male and female panther who share a deep bond. The desolate panther eventually takes her own life. Olivia, Tashi's sister-in-law and lifelong confidant, takes the narrative reins, revealing that Tashi often employs such stories as a means of communication. Tashi then delves into her experiences in psychoanalysis and recounts the story of her sister, Dura, who once inserted a burning twig into her mouth and cried for aid, only to receive no assistance from the adults around her. Tashi nurtures the hope that the doctor will provide a remedy for her struggles. Subsequently, Adam, Tashi's spouse, contemplates his inability to recall their initial encounter. He reflects on his childhood memories of Tashi, finding them at odds with Olivia's recollections. Adam's disquiet stems from a concern that his own memories might be unreliable. As the narrative progresses, both Tashi and Olivia relay the account of Tashi's experience with female circumcision, an ordeal fervently opposed by Olivia. Tashi's salvation from the practice comes through Christian missionaries who regard it with abhorrence. However, this rescue leaves her feeling disconnected, caught between her American identity, as Evelyn Johnson, and her African heritage. Olivia attempts to dissuade Tashi from undergoing the circumcision procedure carried out by the Olinka tribe's Tsunga. Despite Olivia's efforts, Tashi proceeds with the procedure, grappling with the conflicting emotions tied to her dual cultural identity, her African heritage and her newfound life. Tashi's decision is influenced by haunting memories of her sister Dura's painful circumcision, administered by the renowned Tsunga, Mlisa. Dura's circumcision was marred by complications, leading to her agonizing death. Initially, Tashi was relieved to have evaded circumcision, but she experiences a sense of incompleteness and isolation among her fellow Olinka women who consider her less of a woman due to her lack of the procedure. Despite not being compelled, Tashi grapples with societal pressure to conform to her tribe's expectations. Motivated by a desire to reconnect with her culture, Tashi ultimately opts for the circumcision, disregarding the dangers associated with undergoing it as a teenager, a procedure typically performed on very young children. Mlisa performs Tashi's circumcision as well. Following the procedure, Tashi's mental well-being deteriorates. Plagued by the memory of her sister's agony, she incessantly hears Dura's screams echoing in her mind. Tashi begins to perceive her sister's circumcision as an act of murder, attributing blame to Mlisa. The revelation of Tashi's imprisonment underscores her fractured reality, stemming from the harrowing experience of the circumcision. The procedure inflicts ongoing physical problems upon her, compounded by unrelenting pain, and Olivia stands by her side despite vehemently disagreeing with Tashi's choice. Tashi recollects the trial she endured, highlighting the lack of compassion displayed by the male officials presiding over the case. This misogyny and chauvinism mirror the cultural norms of the Olinka people, who withhold education from women and instill in them a duty to be subservient to their husbands, discouraging independent thinking and action. After Tashi's circumcision, Adam discovers her in a rebel camp, her wounds untreated and festering. He recalls the vivacious and lively girl she once was and rescues her, ultimately marrying her. He brings her to the United States, yet Tashi's mental state deteriorates rapidly. She is no longer the same person he remembers, and her physical well-being is compromised due to the poorly executed stitching performed by Mlisa after the procedure. In the face of these challenges, Adam takes a mistress and fathers a child with her. Tashi seeks solace through psychiatric help, but her efforts yield no relief. Fleeing to Africa in search of a reprieve, she encounters Mlisa once again, now a public figure of some renown. Seeing the woman she holds responsible for her sister's death and her own suffering pushes Tashi to her limits. She believes that she has found a way to uphold her cultural values by exacting revenge on Lissa, ending her life and cremating her remains. Throughout the narrative, Tashi's unreliable perspective necessitates chapters told from other characters' viewpoints. These perspectives are crucial in comprehending the unfolding events and their chronological order. Walker's unflinching portrayal of the circumcision procedure is vividly grim and emotionally challenging to read. Yet, this portrayal serves the purpose of highlighting the horror and brutality inherent in the practice, even for those unfamiliar with the cultures in which it is performed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.